This is Christine with Shortcut to Happiness. We are at the Conscious Life Expo 2020, and we are with
Maureen St. Germain, the practical mystic.
You have such an interesting background. I want your opinion on something. What do you think is the key or the secret to happiness?
I think the key or secret to happiness is the willingness to recognize when you're in the hole or in the blues and to do something about it. And the thing I tell people to do when you're in the hole is two things. Number one, I ask them to go watch sunsets, because I have discovered that when you watch a sunset, it actually makes your consciousness change, because subconsciously you know there's another one tomorrow. So it renews your faith in life. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing I do is I tell people, ask God or whoever you believe in, show me how much I am loved. And even if nobody comes to you and says, oh, you're wonderful, Maureen, or oh, I love you so much, Christine, what happens is when you announce you're ready to hear how much you are loved, it happens.
Oh, that is really beautiful. So vice versa, we should tell other people how we love them or appreciate them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Certainly expressing appreciation is a valid way to get appreciation in return. And certainly expressing how much you appreciate someone actually makes you happy anyway, as you already know.
Yes. And a part of doing this is because I wanted to be happier. I knew percentage-wise during the day, we all can be happier, right?
Well, I've been through some very dark periods, when a long-term marriage ended and my job ended and everything just kind of fell apart all around me. I, wondered, what can I do? And in meditation, I was told, ask. Show me how much I'm loved.
So what is it that the mystic does?
A mystic is somebody who looks at the reality and understands the 3D reality and the spiritual side or the unseen side, and helps people to integrate, to comprehend, and then to apply.
That sounds very thorough. So how does one get started?
Well, I have guided meditations that I take people through. So rather than doing what's called mindful meditation, I teach people guided meditations. So all my meditations are guided, and many of them have spaces in them. So I'll say, well, this particular angel, like Archangel Michael, is good for protection, and this, and then here's the kind of prayer you can ask, and I leave a space for them to actually make the request. Or Chamuel, who's good at relationships. Maybe you have somebody in your family who's not talking to you. Practically everybody tells me they have somebody that's not talking to them. And so it's a way then to get yourself aligned with stepping up. So that's one of the ways I do. I also have many books that I've written that have been translated into many languages, maybe 8 languages. I've taught in 24 countries. And people need the ability to know they can do it themselves. And so one of the things, my number one gift to people is this training I call the Higher Self Challenge. And in 6 weeks, you can move from not having a connection to actually being able to understand or hear your own divine channel in a way that allows you to evaluate what's going on around you. So with this connection, you can tell, oh yeah, he's fibbing here, or this is a great teacher, but that one thing they said, nah, I don't buy that. And you're able to validate within yourself because you now have turned on the channel.
Absolutely. I always say if you ask the question like, should I go there? You already know something is going on.
Well, and plus this should I, to me, is so ambiguous, because maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. And is your wisdom channel going to tell you whether you should? I don't think so. I ask, is it in your highest and best good to do this thing? I know people who have been reluctant to respond to an invitation, and it would be a good one, to go to a vacation or to, do something that they would want to do, and yet they're unsure. But then when they check into their wisdom channel, they get clarity. Yes, I should, or no, I'm not going to do that.
That's beautiful. And I agree. And sometimes you have to be asking for your highest good or the highest good for all those involved at the moment.
That's absolutely right. I would totally agree with you. If it's just me, it's just me. But if it's, if I'm being given an opportunity to work with a bunch of other people, absolutely, I would ask, is the highest good for everyone involved? There's a legal suit, for example, that I'm advising someone about, and there's 4 or 5 flavors. His wife, the neighbors, there's a lot of people involved. And so we ask the question, is it in everybody's highest and best good? When we ask the question, is it in his highest and best good? Yeah. Is it in everyone's highest and best good? Absolutely not. Pretty powerful. And this particular person has chosen highest and best good for everyone. So he's going to pull back. That's very powerful.
And if you think of it that way, you can come up with a little bit better solutions.
Not only that, and this is a very cool thing that happened to this particular person that I'm working with, he actually went to bed very concerned because he knew he could or should proceed, and on the other hand, he should pull back because of the people involved. And he woke up and he knew the answer why. And that is so solid and so pleasing that you could be willing to accept something that you're not really committed to because you're being given guidance that it's in your highest and best good, and then go to sleep and wake up with the understanding. It's like he visited the Akashic Records without knowing that he did, because as he said to me, I woke up and I knew the answer. And here's why. And absolutely, that's why. If he had asked me to open the Akashic Records for him, that's probably what he would have been told.
Well, sometimes it's just the right thing to do, right? Based on all the factors. Not the happiest thing to do, but the right thing to do.
Yeah, personally, I don't do right and wrong, believe it or not. I do highest and best good for you or me or the people we're involved with. And I don't judge it either way, right or wrong. That's a very interesting distinction. Yeah.
So what do you see for 2020?
I see a year of absolute magical transformation and huge turmoil, upending people's belief systems in every part of life. And they're going to go inward because they're not going to be able to make sense of the outer world. So in a way, it's like when I was growing up, I asked my parents about what was it like when people were in the Depression. How did they spend their money? And they said they spend their money on gardening, on flowers, because it was something inexpensive that they could do because they couldn't go out, because they couldn't travel, because they didn't have resources. So with all the turmoil around us, everyone's going to go inward because that's what they can do. No one can take that away from you.
I love inexpensive things that bring you happiness, and I always like having something to look forward to. One more question. What do you think about family separation, and are families going to come back in style?
That's a very good question. I think that it's going to take a metamorphosis, and that although families will continue to form and move apart, they're going to operate in a new way of cooperation. So there won't be this drama of trying to make someone look bad or trying to hurt someone through the way you treat your children. And everybody's going to step up. So even if a couple doesn't stay together, they're going to be committed to the community raising their children, and they're going to make sure that that happens.
I like community involvement and caring about more than just your own family.
I agree. And we see it a lot now. For example, in all the ethnic communities, especially like in New York, I know so many women whose parents either live with them or near them or in the same apartment building. In China, it's the same. Parents help out with the raising of the children. And in Egypt, it's the same. In a lot of the cultures that are more traditional, even when the parents have split or moved in other directions, the grandparents are fully present and ready and able to assist. And that's, I think, going to continue.
I hope grandparents come back in style.
I think they've been in style all along. I would never say they've gone out of style.
That's a perfect postulate, right?
Yep, absolutely. The optimist.
Well, thank you for all that you do. And thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
This is Christine from Shortcut to Happiness. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. I enjoy being with you.